My friends have always told me that my life is a movie. So here we go, I guess. Hey y'all, welcome to Jess in Full. This is officially my new YouTube channel. Please like, follow, subscribe, all of the things. So you can stay tuned for what's to come because there is a lot more to come. Cheers to that. YouTubers, social media influencers, all the girlies, they don't get enough props for how vulnerable they have to be to really showcase their life to the world. And obviously, there are certain parts of life that we choose to keep off of social media, right? And that's why social media is such a paradigm, y'all. It really be people posting the happy moments and not the sad ones. And frankly, I want my social media to be the most authentic to me that it can be. So what I'm about to tell y'all is very vulnerable. Almost a year ago now, I was homeless. And to give you a little bit of context as to where and who I was in life before all of this, I'm going to insert a little clip here. I manifested this going into the new year. I told myself and I told God that I wanted to take my poetry seriously. And I don't know if y'all know, but your girl just hosted my first ever poetry event called Black Silk. So I just feel extremely blessed to be in this space of being able to not only take my art seriously, but I feel like other people are taking me seriously. And I'm like, wait, I don't even take myself seriously. I'm just a girl. Please be fucking for real. But so obviously, as you guys can see, I was truly in my prime before all of this started happening, right? September of 2023, I was fresh out of a relationship, single, dating again, traveling. Yes, I was living paycheck to paycheck because I was working part-time at Louis Vuitton, but still living my best life nonetheless, right? I also started a poetry event called Black Silk in Portland, my hometown, and that was very fulfilling, really passionate about it. I was so excited to finally be finding the artist community in Portland and also showcasing my own art. So I was just in a really good space in life. I was so happy. I was content. So come March of 2024, wine break, I had a family member call me and she says, my boyfriend just went to jail. I can't pay all my bills. I need help. We can help each other. Right? And this is someone who my whole life I've had somewhat of a strained relationship with. But prior to that, maybe I want to say a year prior to that phone call, we had been on really good terms. My family member was going to church and, felt like she had found God and was so changed and blah, blah, blah. Everybody told me it was a bad idea, right? Everybody told me. My family told me, my friends told me, and I didn't listen because, number one, my goal at the time was to move to Atlanta. And moving to Atlanta cross country, I would need the funds for that kind of move, right? And living paycheck to paycheck, I would have had to find a roommate regardless. And so I'm like, okay, this can be beneficial for both of us. it can also be beneficial for our relationship, because up until that point, we had a very surface level relationship, right? And I wanted it that way because I wanted to protect my peace and protect my energy. Because in the past, this was a relationship with someone who, every time I allowed this family member into my life, it would cause more harm than good. And so I was like, okay, my family member needs help. I'm very family oriented. Anybody that knows me knows that family is literally like my absolute weakness. I will go broke. I will give all the clothes off my back for my family. So I said yes. I said, I will break my lease, move in with you. We talked about terms and conditions, like this is how much I'll be paying you in rent, this is what I'll be paying for. And mind you, I hadn't lived with this family member since I was maybe 16. I paid $2,000 to break my lease, bought a U-Haul, moved all of my stuff from my apartment to my family member's apartment. I had unpacked everything, set up my room how I wanted it to be. I had done all the things, and 5 days later, shit hits the fan. Not even a whole week, 5 days. And basically, it started all because I had a few remaining boxes in the living room that couldn't fit into my bedroom. And so I basically had to go through my stuff and figure out, okay, what can I put in storage? What needs to stay here? Type of thing. Long story short, that was a problem with my family member. And it started a whole argument that quickly escalated into the type of arguments that it used to be, like before, when I was 16, when I lived there, like, oh, you're so ungrateful. Oh, you're so inconsiderate. You don't care about me. Everybody else comes first, blah, blah, blah. I was just like, yeah, I can't do this. Like, I don't care how much my back is against the wall right now. Like, yes, I just, paid $2K that, by the way, like my family member told me they would help me pay since I was doing them a favor. Never saw any part of that money. Like, this was not good for me then, and it's still not good for me now. No matter how much I've healed since 16 years old, it still wasn't a healthy environment for me to be in. So I packed up all my stuff, drove it to my other family member's house that has like a big, shed outside, put all my stuff in the shed, and basically had to figure it out. For the first week or two, I was hopping around from friend to friend, staying with a few of my friends, sleeping on their couch. And then, God bless my best friend and my sister Michaela. She took me in, and it's literally like a running joke. I don't know if you guys have seen that meme.
So I'm out shopping and I find this ratty little dog. What are you doing here? And I feel really bad for it because it's just walking around. I don't want it to get hit by a car. Oh, what are you doing? Who are you?
Me and my best friend joke, like, that was me. I was a stray dog, basically, that she took in. She became like my sister. We lived in a studio apartment, literally on top of each other for about 6 months. Me and Michaela are now literally like locked in, like tight like a booty hole. Like, she's not going anywhere, I'm not going anywhere. We just fit. We go together. I love you, Michaela. So yeah, I was only supposed to be living with my friend for a couple weeks until, I got a couple paychecks and could afford to get my own place. And then that couple weeks turned into 6 months because in the midst of it, like, I'm trying to figure out, okay, so I don't want to be in Portland anymore. at the time, like, I was going through so much stuff, like trying to just get myself back stable. And obviously, like during this time, I reached out to family members, which was really hard for me because I'm never the type to ask for help. I'm always a family member that people call, like, hey, Jess, I'm in a jam. Can you send me X amount of money? I'm always that person. So for me to pick up the phone and call my family members and ask for money was extremely difficult. Like, and obviously, like, I wasn't just asking for money to ask for money. Like, I was asking for money to put towards finding a new place and getting myself back stable. And the family members that I did ask, like, they either wanted to support me or couldn't. And at the same time, I also had family members who literally like ghosted me. And I was like, that's so crazy. Like, I've never asked for money a day in my life. But it was just a really embarrassing experience to have to ask for help in that sense of finances. And then the response that I got, specifically like the family members that ghosted me when I asked them for help financially, if you don't got it, you don't got it. Just say that. Like, at least like say something. Like, and don't assume that every time I hit you up, therefore after, I'm going to be asking for money. Because really during that time, all I needed was emotional support. Like, I was going through a lot. And so the fact that like my family didn't show up for me, number one, in the way that I needed them to, and then in the way that I would do for them, was honestly kind of heartbreaking. So at this point, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to stay in Portland and find a better job in Portland and get myself a place. I didn't know if I wanted to move elsewhere. I was looking at Arizona because one of my older siblings lives there. I was looking at Seattle because it's not super far away from home, but also I have friends here that I knew prior. My college mentor lives in Seattle. So, in a sense of moving to a new place and not feeling entirely alone, I felt like Seattle was that place for me. I applied to so many jobs, y'all. I applied. Every single thing. No, no, no. Girl, and some of the things, I didn't even get a response. One of the jobs that I applied for back in maybe like June, July-ish, they got back to me once I had already moved to Seattle, once I was already in my new place, months later, saying, oh, we've decided to go a different way. I applied 2 months ago and you just hit me up. Like, that's so weird. Like, when and where in the job etiquette did people stop sending no thank you emails? Like, that's literally all it takes. There was this one job though. It was a DEI program coordinator working for the Washington Bar Association. And for those of you that know me, I do have previous experience in law. I was an office assistant at a personal injury law firm a few years back now. And law has always been kind of the direction that I wanted to go in life. So I was really excited about this job, y'all. Like, really excited. I applied. I was manifesting it. I was setting my intentions. I was like, God, I really want this job, and I'm just going to act like it's mine at this point. Like, this job is mine. The interviewers just don't know that yet, right? And a couple weeks later, I get an email, a very lengthy email, which was really, really kind. The lady, she was like, oh, like, I see even just through your cover letter how passionate you are, and I hope you continue to go on this path, and blah, 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 all this sweet stuff. But at the end of the day, I didn't get the job. And honestly, I feel like that was very devastating. Like, I cried, y'all. I cried so hard because I wanted this job so bad. But at the end of the day, look at God, bro. because all this stuff going on politically, DEI initiatives done for, like, I would have moved here, had a job for maybe like October, November, December, 3 or 4 months, and then would have gotten laid off. Like, I would have been in that same process of having to find a job again. But at this point, like, having an apartment, having bills that I have to pay, and being without a job. So I'm very thankful for how it turned out. I'm thankful for the job that I did find. Like, I'm more financially stable than I ever have been in my whole life, which I'm so, so grateful for. Like, not having to worry. Obviously, it's not in the law field, which is what I really wanted to do. But I'll get there. It's not a never. It's just a not right now. After applying, and not finding a thing, I had told myself when all of this started, when I decided that moving to Seattle was what I wanted to do, I was like, you know what? I'm going to manifest that I will be moving to Seattle. I will find a job in Seattle. Like, I really prayed on it. I set my intentions. And honestly, like, moving out of Portland has always been a goal for me. The only reason why I stayed in Portland this long was because I am very close with my family. And so staying close to my family was what was most important to me. So I just truly felt like during this period of time, like, God was physically pushing me out of Portland. Like, no joke, no lie, y'all. I was being spiritually pushed out of Portland. Like, being in Portland was so uncomfortable that I physically felt like anxiety all the time. And the only thing that gave me relief was the thought of leaving Portland. When I decided that moving to Seattle was what I wanted to do, I told myself back in like June that I wanted to have a job in Seattle by August because that's my birthday month. And I was like, what better way to celebrate my life than to get my shit together? So my deadline for myself was August. It was pushing close, girl. July came, still no hits on jobs. Early August came, and I finally got a call back from one of the places that I applied to. And they're like, oh, we're interested in interviewing with you. So I went through 3 different rounds of interviews that were spaced out over the course of like maybe 3 weeks. And I finally got the job. I finally got the job. I got the job like early September, which was not too far off from my timeline that I told myself. And I started my new job October 7th, right? So during the end of August to end of September, I had a month to figure out, one, finances, how I'm going to move into Seattle with no money to my name. 2, where I'm going to live, how much I can afford. And 3, when I can move into my apartment before starting my job. Which, once it got closer and closer to, I already knew that I wasn't going to be able to start my job while already being in my apartment. And so basically what I decided to do was move to Seattle homeless. I was like, it's fine. Like, I'll figure it out, So I stayed with a friend who, at the time, my friend's lease was ending soon. So they were going to be moving out of their place. And I was like, well, shit. It's not looking likely that by the time they move out of their place, I'll be already in mine. And so I'm texting, calling everybody I know in Seattle, like, you got a place for me to crash my head for a couple of weeks? Like, you got a place I can crash my head? And everybody I knew was like, it's not going to work out. I was like really in a bind, like, okay, like I'm going to have to pay for a hotel or Airbnb. So I was like, I'm just going to have to figure it out until my apartment is ready for me to be moved into, because it is a new build. And so they were basically like, the cement flooring in your apartment isn't done, like the patio area isn't done, we still have to do XYZ, and then you can move in. And I'm like, okay, bro. It was maybe a week into starting my new job. At this point, I'm still staying with my friend, and I had, I think, maybe 4 days to figure out where I was going to be living once my friend had to be out of their old apartment. It was crunch time for real. I was calling the apartment every day. Is it done yet? Is it ready yet? Like, can I move in yet? And every time it was no, 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 no. And so finally, a few days before my friend had to be out of their apartment, I get the phone call while I'm at work that my apartment is ready to be moved into. And I'm like, oh, hallelujah, because they had told me that it was going to be 2 weeks. So for 2 weeks, I would have had to figure it out. And I was like, the timing was just impeccable. Like, it was truly divine timing. All I can say is thank you, God. The reason why I decided to share my story is because during the midst of all of this, like, I was 24, about to be 25, and homeless. I was like, this is so embarrassing. Like, this is such an embarrassing situation to be in. And little did I know at the time, like, a lot of people actually face homelessness. A lot of people face insecurity in some type of sense, whether it be food, whether it be money, whether it be home. During that time, I felt really ashamed and really embarrassed to like share any part of what I was going through with other people. And so I honestly just wanted to share from my heart, from my own experience, how God brought me through this. And I know, like, not everyone is religious. I'm not even religious. I don't consider myself religious. I consider myself more spiritual. Like, I do believe in God. I believe in the universe, and I believe that there are things beyond our imagination working for our good. This experience truly taught me, like, it brought me so much closer to God. Like, every time I feel uncertain or shaken by something, I literally just like go into my mind and I just tell God, like, hey, how's it going? Like, and it's just this peace that I've never really experienced in my life before. This peace of knowing that regardless of what happens, I will be provided for. Regardless of anything that may come, I know that I will be okay. I have been a resilient person my whole life, but honestly, having a faith to rely on during that time was imperative. Like, I don't think I could have made it through without believing that the universe is for me and not against me. Another thing that I learned through this process was we have to forgive people when they don't show up for us in the way we would like them to. And this was a really hard one for me, but I really had to forgive those family members who didn't show up for me in that season of my life. And that forgiveness is not necessarily for them, but that forgiveness was for me. Because had I not chosen to forgive them, I would have walked around for the rest of my life believing that now I can't ask anyone for help ever again because nobody ever shows up for me. Like, what's the point? I didn't want to carry that chip on my shoulder. Choosing to not forgive and choosing to carry that chip on my shoulder or that heaviness in my heart, it would prevent me from showing love or showing up for people how I would show up for them. I feel like it's not a good way to go about life. Forgiving those that didn't show up for me in the way that I needed them to, that was a really big lesson that I learned from this. Piggybacking off of that, I had to let go of the victim mentality. I had to let go of all of the hurt and pain that I was feeling, because in my mind I was like, well, if this person hadn't done this to me, or if this person didn't do this, like, no, like, cut it out. Stop. Like, I had to be the writer of my own story, because when you create this story in your head where you are the victim, you're giving the power to somebody else. And so through this whole experience, I learned to take my power back. And I learned that when you take control of your narrative that you're telling yourself, your whole life starts to change. And the last thing that I want you guys to be able to take away from this video is that you are not alone. Everyone is struggling with something. Social media can be very deceiving in the sense of people are only showing the happy moments, and they're not necessarily showing everything else that's going on behind the scenes. So with that being said, don't compare your journey to somebody else's. Getting the scary, vulnerable stuff out of the way, I want to let you know what you have to look forward to in this Jess in Full YouTube channel. It is lots of sit downs with wine and having girl chats. And honestly, I want y'all to know, when I say girl, girly, girl, like, all genders are inclusive in that, just FYI, throwing that out there. Another thing that I'm really looking forward to is doing some type of a video podcast where I invite friends to have conversations about life, controversial topics. I am a beauty fashionista type of girly. I love makeup. I love throwing on an outfit. So you can expect to see things like that as well. I also love to travel, so expect a little travel vlog sprinkled in here and there. I honestly just want to share my life with y'all. I want to share my experiences, the lessons I've learned, and I want to share the testimony that God has put in me. Because if I told y'all the amount of times that I got myself in a situation where my life was literally on the line, like, you truly wouldn't believe me. Like, you just wouldn't, okay? So the fact that I am still here today, the fact that I have a roof over my head, the fact that I was able to buy my dream car, like, these things are just such big blessings that I honestly never could foresee that in my future because of the things that I went through. And so when I look at my life now, I'm like, damn, like, I'm really not supposed to be here, but I made it regardless. So cheers to cheers to Jess in Full. And I hope this brings you joy. I hope it brings you insights. I hope it brings you growth. And I hope it brings you community. Love you guys. Bye.